day and welcome back to guyswithrides.com, the only ad and dealer-free online community for collector car enthusiasts. People who visit our website and this YouTube channel often ask, why dealer-free? Well, I'm about to take you through the latest example of why certain dealer practices are bad for the collector car hobby. Longtime followers of Guys with Rides may remember this 1959 gray over red Morris Minor 1000 convertible we first featured in March of 2019. A bit of background on the Morris Minor. Many consider it Great Britain's version of the VW Beetle, as it was that country's first automobile to surpass the 1 million mark over the course of its production in 3 series between 1948 and 1971. Designed by a team led by Sir Alex Egregious, who was later made famous for designing the original Mini, the Minor debuted in the fall of 1948. Often named Mosquito after the original product's code name, these cars enjoy a huge following in the UK, but remain a rare sight in the US. Over the long production run, Morris produced a variety of body styles in 3 series. The original MM, that lasted from 1948 through 1953. The Series 2, produced from 1952 to 1956. And the car featured here, a 1000 series, produced between 1956 and, believe it or not, 1971. Okay, so the car in question we've followed since March of 2019. At the time when we first discovered the post, the private seller listed it on the Northern New Jersey Craigslist site for the asking price of $14,995. The car appeared to be a restored example in a nice color combination, and when we looked at the Hagerty valuation and comparables on bringatrailer.com, the pricing seemed to be consistent with a car that would be somewhere between the number 2 excellent condition and the number 3 good condition. So we didn't have any problem with that. That original listing lingered on Craigslist between March and April of 2019 for about a month. Typically, when a listing expires, if we can't find another alternative, we assume that the car has been sold and marketed accordingly. Such was the case with this car, and by April of 2019, we assumed it was sold and it was going to enjoy the summer of 19 with its new caretaker. Fast forward to March of 2020, and imagine our surprise when we came across the same car again and listed for the same price with updated pictures from spring of this year. Actually, we're not that surprised. Many times we find that if a seller can't get the price they wanted, they'll take the car off market and wait a few months. So in this case, we're assuming that the private seller didn't get the price he wanted, decided to run the car last year and keep it one more year. So we kept track, knowing the car was still for sale, we kept track of the listing, and we watched this latest listing linger for a little over a month on Craigslist. Then in May, as that expired, we noticed a fresh listing for the car, same pictures from this year, with the price finally reduced $2,000 to $12,995. Finally, in July, we saw the seller drop the price another $1,000 to just under $12,000, and we watched the post linger on Craigslist through the middle of August. As was the case with the original listing, the seller, instead of deleting the post, elected to just let it expire and die a slow death. Fast forward to earlier this week now, when we went to update the database, our database, we did a search for 59 Morris Minor convertibles for sale near us. Sure enough, while the Craigslist ad, there was no Craigslist fresh post, we came across this ad for a classic car dealership located in Stratford, Connecticut, where the car is now listed for, wait for it, $17,900. All right, giving the dealer the benefit of the doubt, I decided to call them. The friendly gentleman who answered immediately went into a spiel about the car and how good it was, how the floors were all good, the underside was good, it looked like it had been restored at some point, and it was generally a very nice example. When he finally gave me a chance to ask a question, I simply asked, so what have you done with the car over the last 2 months of your ownership to justify a $6,000 price increase? Here was the initial reply. After the initial crickets on the other side of the phone, his response was, I think I have to go back and look through the receipts to see what's been done. At that point, I ended the conversation because I had my answer. Look, we are firm believers in free market capitalism and the right for anyone to earn a profit in this society. However, when you buy a classic car for $12,000, do nothing to it other than ship it back to your dealership and then expect a $6,000 premium just because you put it on the other side of your lot, it only serves to further artificially increase the value of these collector cars we cherish. And it preys on people that are not knowledgeable but want a collector car in their garage. The lesson here, when you're interested in a car a collector car dealer is offering, you have to do your homework and you have to play hardball with them. Ask to see what their purchase price was for the car. You have to see the receipts because generally they're putting their dealer plates on the car so they don't have to pay tax nor register the car. They're just holding the title in purgatory until somebody buys it. That combined with you should be asking for receipts of parts and estimated labor if they did the work themselves to understand how much value they've added to the car. If they can't produce one or the other of those, the baseline is you should walk away from the car. There's no baseline at that point because that should be your baseline to negotiate the price of the car and what they've added to the car. Look, if in the case of somebody buying a condition 4, a fair condition daily driver car, and they do a number of upgrades to bring the car up to a condition 3 that you can take to a show, a local car show, I'm all for them charging the proper price in that category. In this case, the seller did nothing to the car, the latest seller that is, did nothing to the car except buy it, bring it back a couple of 100 miles to their dealership, and now they've taken it from what the pricing of between a number 2 excellent and number 3 good to a number 1 Concours to number 2 excellent. It's just, it artificially inflates the value. So why is it bad for the hobby? Let's take this scenario. Suppose somebody really wants a Morris Minor, isn't that knowledgeable cars, but they find it at the dealership, they fall in love with the car, it's a cute car, and they just decide to pay the $17,900 that the dealer asks. Okay, now they go to insure the car. More than likely, they might go through somebody like Haggerty Insurance. That becomes the trend, and they say, hey, I paid $17,900 for this car, and that's what I want to insure it for. Haggerty and the other classic car companies, being typically agreed value policies, that's what they will insure the car for. However, when they go to update their analytics, that's a result to them, and that's a data point on that particular car that they throw into their model. So now, instead of what probably was a realistic private sale of $12,000, somewhere between, I would say, $11,500 and $12,000, we now have Haggerty, who doesn't have that data reflected because the car was not registered from the last seller to this dealer yet. Now, when somebody buys it from that dealer, titles the car, asks for insurance, that becomes the data point. That's why we're here. We're trying to put together private sellers and buyers so that this artificial inflation that goes on with dealers is non-existent in our community, and it gets buyers the market correct price, and it gets sellers a car at what they should pay for the car based on the current market conditions. I hope you like this video, and if so, please click the like button. If you'd like to be alerted to our future content, then by all means I invite you to press the subscribe button. You can also check out our website by clicking the link in the description or on our channel page, and check out all of the content we update 6 times a week. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.